Have your players ever asked you, can I make a new weapon? Can I make some armor? Can I make some stuff? And you have no idea what to tell them?
Well, thankfully today we're looking at Ghesh's Guide to Making Things. Welcome everyone, I'm Sean, this is Tony, and today we're looking at Ghesh's Guide to Making Things by Gregersen.
Now, this is a supplement that you can find on the DM's Guild, but it's getting up there in the ranks, and it's really, really awesome because it adds so much for the DM to give to their players.
Now, often as a DM, you run into that situation where a player kind of wants to make things and they get sick of that +1 longsword, or they don't want that +2 armor anymore, and what do?
Well, usually, you give them magic items and then regret it later.
Yes, absolutely.
But this is a totally different option for that, and this is actually allowing them to make stuff themselves, giving you actual rules that you can use to say, yes, you can create that long sword, it's just going to take you this much money and this much time.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at Ghesh's Guide to Making Things.
Okay, now first, before we get into anything, let's look at the gorgeous artwork on this.
You are a little biased, I will say. You like kobolds and you like artificers, and therefore you like kobold artificers, so...
Is this one of those things on like the SAT?
Yes.
Okay.
If, and so, yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
Okay, yes, that is true. But look at how happy he is.
It's great, yeah. I
no.
promise you, that's one of his things.
Yes, and here's the thing with it, though, too, is that it's not just the cover art. All the weapon art and the things in this are beautifully done, and even the text in this is kind of themed after, which I think is cool.
Absolutely.
So, how do you craft armor and weapons?
Yeah, so essentially starts out with having proficiencies with certain tools, and this is where Xanathar's guide might be a little handy to you, because it actually does kind of detail as to how to add checks to using tool proficiency, but here it actually is really nice. Like, for example, if you want to work with metal armor, you want to be good with smith's tools, or if you want to work with a wooden weapon, you want to have wood carver tool proficiency.
But what if I want to make wood armor?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
It is an interesting one. But it also gives you the quality and the cost of those things as you're going through. So you're going to see lists in here that will tell you, okay, you want to make a club. It's going to cost you 1 silver and 4 hours worth of time in order to make that club. And the thing that I like about it is it gives you that time, and it's perfectly usable for downtime.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially when you're playing in a homebrew campaign, sometimes you disregard that downtime mechanic because, we'll be playing in a week, we'll just kind of see what happens. Where now, if you really don't know what to do with that downtime, crafting weapons and armor is a great thing. And the nice thing is, people do it in their downtime. You don't waste any game time when you're meeting up to actually have to worry about the crafting.
Now, the other thing, too, is that they're not going to be getting items and crafting, miraculous swords and things like that right off the bat. It is limited by the level.
Yeah, so it's actually really cool here. So pretty basic. Basic is at first level, intermediate at 5th, advanced at 10th, and 16th at masterwork. And like Tony mentioned, as these items get more and more powerful and more harder to create, you're going to need days, weeks even, to actually make these items, and it's going to add up to a lot of gold, in dozens, hundreds, thousands of gold coins.
Now, every single basic armor and item, weapon, are available from the DM's guide with that is available here as well, the player's handbook with it, and it shows you basically how to craft those. However, there is some really cool added stuff in the effects and bonuses that you can put to these as well. You can augment things.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to take a look at a few of them. There's actually dozens of different modifications that you can add to your weapons and items, but we're going to look at a couple here. So these are basic weapon mods. So these are actually the beginner ones that you can kind of add, usually even to a regular sword or armor or anything. So these are a couple of them here. You like the balanced darts.
I do. Balanced anything, actually, with it. All balanced does is, it takes you a day to be able to do this with it. They're not magical after you've completed it with it, and it takes you about 30 gold. So it does, it's a little chunk of change with it, right? But you can do this to any throwing weapon, so darts, I don't know, what else do you throw? You can throw axes, I guess,
sure,
things like that. And what it does is it balances the weight in the weapon that you're doing, so it adds an additional 15 feet to the low end and to the high end of it.
Yeah,
so you've got
really
just
basic,
a little bonus with it.
But really cool.
Yeah.
There's actually a picture of a halting sword there, and the halting condition is actually pretty interesting. So the edge of this blade has been hardened. Whenever you make a strength check throw against being moved against your will, you can use your reaction to dig your blade into the ground, giving yourself advantage on the roll.
That's really cool. just that.
Yeah, you're like
Right?
kind of stoning yourself in there. Really
Good
neat.
for not falling off of cliffs, by the
This is
way.
true, yes.
Yeah, always useful with that. Now, these are weapon mods, and there's some for basic and all the way through master, and we're just going to skip ahead to the master ones on the armor, because these are really cool.
Yeah, again, these are some late tier, like minimum 16th level, and usually lots of gold and lots of time, but there's some really, really cool ones. One that I like, which is kind of close to the Paladin's heart, of course, is the protected armor. You kind of see that at the top there. Requires 100 days. It is magical, so it does require a little bit of an Arcana check, and it requires 15,000 gold to do this.
But what do it do, Sean? What do it do?
Well, while wearing this armor, you are always under the effects of the protection from good and evil spell.
That's nice for a paladin.
That's not bad, especially if you're going to be playing maybe like an Avernus campaign. Very good to have that if you're going to be going down into the Nine Hells.
Yeah, just knowing everything is evil.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's there with it. But at the same time with it, that's actually the cheapest one out of all of these.
Yeah, some of these get pretty crazy. I mean, obviously, for etherealness, it's going to require another 100 days, 35,000 gold, but again, it lets you do the etherealness spell for 10 minutes. So, good stuff.
Very useful with it. And again, there are modifications for basic all the way up through master on this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's not all. There is even more that you get in this thing here, especially starting, and I love this, bomb maker tools.
To be honest, I feel like this could have been its own supplement, and you could build a class around this bomb maker. But really cool. So they actually have this part at the end of the supplement about making explosives. They introduce a new item called a bomb maker's tools.
Now, something to note, it says part 2 up here at the top. Just know that part 1 is like
Most of it.
60-something pages.
Yeah.
But it is really cool with it too, because it follows the same kind of mechanics with that. It's just a different set of tools that you can be skilled in, and you've got basic, intermediate, advanced, and masterwork, different types of bombs. There's even a grenade launcher that you can get to shoot these bombs across the way.
Yeah, they even add a little function in case you don't want your party holding on too many bombs. There's actually a mechanic you can add. If their bombs are older than a week, they can start getting a little, dangerous, and they
Wet
may
dynamite
explode.
is never good.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of these bombs here, and there's tons of them. Sleeping gas grenades, smoke bombs, sonic bombs.
Yeah.
The one we really like on this page is the spell storing shell.
Spell storing is very interesting. When you craft this bomb, you can store a prepared spell of 4th level or lower in the bomb by casting it as part of crafting the bomb. The spell must target a single creature area. The spell being stored has no immediate effect when cast in this way, and then when that bomb goes off, it's basically kind of like the spell is cast. It hits the creature, and again, it's really cool because you're kind of like holding on to this spell that's kind of like ready to go.
And it gets better when it's advanced or masterwork.
Yeah.
Like this is one that kind of gets bigger and bigger, but it's basically the level of the spell that you can put in the thing.
Basically,
right?
yep.
Masterwork, you're throwing a 9th level spell, I don't know, wish bomb.
A wish bomb.
A wish bomb.
Somebody trademarked that, but yeah, there is some really nasty stuff that you can
hashtag wish bomb. That's
there
what we're
you
gonna
go.
do. I don't think people do this
No,
anymore.
I don't think so.
Nobody does
No,
this,
no,
but
no.
whatever. There's a couple of other ones that I like here that are, some of them are very simple with it, and there's more bombs than the 2 pages that we have. In fact, there's 20 bombs.
Something like
different
that.
ones.
Yeah, there's a lot.
The voice box bomb is basically like throwing a walkie-talkie. So you craft the bomb with it, you speak a message into it, and you chuck it somewhere with it, right?
Yep.
And when the bomb goes off, the message is played.
Yep, 6 seconds of whatever you want. Could be a tweet at this point.
Well, I kind of like the idea of just chucking them through other people's windows. It's like, just hidden messages, little things like that. Just breaking the window, it landing on the ground on the floor there and waking them up. It's a great thing.
For sure.
But you like that warding grenade too.
The warding grenade is pretty cool. So a 10-foot radius dome of arcane light springs up to protect those standing behind it. All creatures can pass through the dome, but it blocks all weapon and spell attacks, including those made from inside the dome. It's basically this kind of like aura spell that it's a drop shield bomb. I love the idea. Again, that's the paladin in me. I'm very biased, but yeah, it's a really cool bomb.
Yeah. You feel about paladins the way I do about kobold artificers.
This is true.
It could be any race of paladin. You don't care.
Yeah,
just as long as it's a paladin.
I can go for anything. So.
Well, either way, these things are really, really awesome, and we're so happy to be able to review them. Now, once again, if you want to pick this one up, you can totally go over to the DM's Guild and pick it up here. It's Ghesh's Guide to Making Things. It's available as a PDF, but there is also a Fantasy Grounds version of it as well if you want to throw it into your campaign on Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah, this is a really good example as to how to help supplement your player's gameplay. A lot of the times we do have those players that really want to add some more to construction or material gathering or things like that, and this is a really good way to supplement them without having to toss in magical items, without having to toss in extra mechanics, and making your life a lot easier, honestly.
And for $9, it's a steal.
It really is.
I mean, really honestly, this is going to be... I wish I can print this thing and put it on my shelf. It's that good. So definitely go ahead and go and pick this one up from the DMs Guild. Tell them that the Homebrew Crew sent you because, we love that. And remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are homebrewed. So until next time,
keep brewing.